Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you are all comfortable. Please, as mentioned by the MC, there is nothing for you to fear. This whole forum has been organized so that we can have a face-to-face chat about some very important issues that may affect us or will be affecting us for this new financial year. But all in all, thank you very much for making your time and being here on time actually. There is a very good sign that the audience is very serious about the agenda in front of us. So I'd like to thank you for that. To all the school managers and the representatives of the school management, thank you very much. I know you have your own life away from the business of the school. You have your own businesses to attend to, you have your family and children to attend to. But the fact that you have made it to this meeting is again a clear indication of the commitment that you have towards the education sector and of course the education of our children. And I'm sure that will always remain a priority. To the heads of schools, I know it's not easy being away from your responsibilities within your school environment, but I'm sure you need a break, so take this as a break away from the hustle and bustle of your school operations. Get to meet your other heads of school colleagues, share your ideas, rest your fears, and let's forge a better way for a better tomorrow for our children. So I'd like to start, like I said, with giving you a glance of education. What are we talking about? I really would like to give you some numbers about what we are dealing here. Then we look at capacities that we have within. Then we look at resources that we have. Then we look at the number of children that have been entrusted in our care. And of course, then we look at the money that we have been allocated by the government to ensure that the job that is ahead of us is done well. So at the Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts, we are looking at close to we are looking at the early childhood care education, we look at primary education, we look at secondary education, we look at vocational education, and of course we look at the higher education institutions that also falls under us, particularly SNU and the other tertiary institutions in Fiji. If I could just give you a brief overview of the early childhood education, there's a lot of priority given on educating our children from very early years. Childhood education starts at 5 years here. But if there are parents who wish to enroll their children in our schools in the early childhood centers, we do welcome children who are 4 years old, but the government does not provide grants to 4-year-olds. Our grant is only for 5-year-olds. So in total we have 875 EC centers around the country, which caters for about 19,109 students, and at the moment we have 1,452 EC teachers. And that brings us to the student-teacher ratio is 1:30, which is pretty good for a country like Fiji. One child, then the ratio is 1:30. Coming to primary schools, we have close to 737 primary schools around the country. Of course, we have 17 special education schools, and we have 1,898 special education children around the country. And in primary school, apart from the, we have 150,640 primary school students looked after by 6,232 teachers, bringing our ratio to 1:24. For secondary schools, we have 173 secondary schools across the country with 67,651 students, taught by 5,732 teachers. Student-teacher ratio is 1:12. Again, we're there. And of course, tertiary education, we have a lot of, our tertiary education which are funded through the grant given by the government to the Higher Education Commission, and they include University of the South Pacific, University of Fiji, Fiji's National University, which is of course our own university, Corpus Christi, Montfort. So they also receive grants from the government for their operations. Technical and skill training, you heard in the budget for this year, we've announced that we will transfer all our technical colleges. We have close to 49 independent technical colleges, and technical colleges will now, technical colleges are part of the secondary school education as well, but the standalone technical colleges that were established will now be transferred to the Fiji National University. So of course the Fiji National University will also take the grant, the budget for them, and the whole idea is to put technical and vocational education at the forefront. And this is based on the needs of our country. So you will expect to see changes within that, and we are almost complete. We're in the completion stage of handing over our technical colleges to the Fiji National University very, very, very soon. So ladies and gentlemen, all in all, teachers across the country look after close to 237,400 plus students. You can imagine, we are quarter of Fiji's population, we look after 8 to 4. But I do understand that your job is not only restricted to 8 to 4. Teachers report to work early, they leave their schools late, and many times these are not appreciated for. If supposedly there's a mishap on the road, the first question is, where was the teacher? The accident can happen in 5 roads. Lord forbid, we don't want any accidents on our children, but sometimes these are unforeseen circumstances and we are expected to be everywhere. So it's very important that we have stakeholder engagement. So the management comes in, the parents come in, the faith-based organizations come in, the committees come in, the corporate sector comes in, and of course the parents. We can never exclude our parents from the education sector. My experience as a teacher for 25 years has probably taught me and made me understand that the expectations that is placed upon a teacher is sometimes beyond what teachers can do. Okay? But because we've chosen this profession, you've chosen to be part of the education sector, you've chosen to be the leaders of your institution, you've chosen to be part of the management of, to run the school, it is very important that whatever we do it with utmost commitment and dedication. And of course, we will achieve results. And in total, we have 13,000, close to 13,500 plus teachers. So the ministry's budget includes the salaries, of course, of teachers, includes the free education grants for our schools as well. The whole focus of getting it together here under one roof this afternoon is to make you understand how the budget process works. This year, Ministry of Education's budget, like every other ministry's budget, has been reduced. We are looking at a reduction of $200 million from last year's budget alone. But of course, that includes still the Higher Education Commission and grants to other institutions as well. In terms of the FEG grant, which you know as the free education grant, we have had a reduction of 2.7 million. Before FEG was introduced, I'm sure you and I both know that government used to subsidize tuition fees. The rest of the fees used to come from the management fee structure paid by the parents. So from 2015, when the free education grant was introduced, the government has spent close to $359 million alone. Now, apart from that, we do know there are other incentives given to parents as well. Textbooks, we've taken care of that. The transfer assistance, we've taken care of that. And other than that, you have your own sponsors and your own well-wishers, you have your own fundraising that help you meet some of the other costs. But when I was doing the math, the money collected in 2014 through fees, and the money that was given by government in terms of free education grant, ladies and gentlemen, the free education grant sort of was an increase of 2-fold to 3-fold. So from 2015, parents were absolved of the burden of paying fees for the children. We actually, as educators, we need to do a bit of research to see the impact of that. What has been the impact of that on our community, on our children? Do we still have parents who take responsibility for the children? Do we still have communities that appreciate the assistance that is given? So these are some of the things that probably later on you'll need to look at. But all in all, if you look at the reduction in grant of about 2.7 million, how are we going to cushion the impact of that? At the start of the new year, I'm sure, as heads of schools, there is something that you must have been thinking about. But before we go on to that, I can assure you that your Term 3 grants will be released within the next two weeks. Okay, our request is with the Minister of Economy, and we're hoping that within the next 2 weeks your term 3 grants will be, or if earlier than that. If earlier than that, then we'll try to do that. Of course, these are all the things you've got to understand how governments work. Minister of Economic Release is the money to us, then we release it to the school. So the Director of Finance is here with his team, and he is here to answer questions that you might have. On another note, like I said, how do we cushion the impact of the $2.7 million decrease? If you look at the formula, that is used to allocate the grant from 2015, whatever grant is given to you is based on student numbers. Of course, again, the team will take you through how much each child is allocated. And I think you all know that it depends on the school category, the school role, and that determines the effect per child. And the criteria that we use to allocate the grant accordingly is, for admin, management, and office operations, you can use 30% of the grant. For building and compound maintenance, you use 20% of the grant. IT and computer, you allow 15%. Library and textbooks, 10%. PMEC and science equipment, 10%. Stationery, 15%. So for the last 2015, if we look at PMEC, science equipment, if you look at library and textbook, if you look at IT and computer, and if you look at building, there must be some evidence to show that you made progress. And year in, year out, we receive requests for buyment of funds. And we allow you to buy it. If you have a use for your computer and IT, you can buy it. So that provisions will still remain. And that should help you cushion the effect of the degree. But my concern here is that we've taken away the textbook bit from you. And we give you 10% for library and textbook. For the last 4 years, if you take 2015 to 2019, if you have been utilizing your grants for the very purpose it has been given to you, then I expect all libraries to be stocked up. I expect your computer labs to be up to date, the science labs to be up to date, because you've been given significant amounts of money specifically for that purpose. But the reality is different. The reality is very different, because you prioritize science over something, or sports over something else, or whatever. And we leave it to the school managers, and we leave it to the school heads. We don't come and interfere unless and until your audited books show something is wrong. 53 schools today have their grants centralized now, because we believe the audit showed that there were flaws in your account. You end up doing something else. You've got to understand that taxpayers' money we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We are accountable, and so are you. Okay? So this year again, the audit team will make sure that the grants are utilized for the purpose it's given. Your priority should be the teaching of our children, teaching and learning environment. We do not expect any compromises to be made when it comes to the teaching and learning of our children. A reduction in this grant, like I said, should never be an excuse, oh, we didn't do well because we didn't have that. We are going to give you ways. The team is going to explain to you how you can go about, like I said, cushioning the effect of that 2.7 billion decrease. And of course, it's going to be spread across. That's why I gave you numbers of all the schools, the numbers of the children. Okay? And that, again, is going to be looked in detail by the team. So please, when you ask questions, we expect positive criticism, because you and I both will have to work with what we've been given. And I think the last head teachers meeting, the media were making some quizzes to, or some head teachers were saying, oh, we need increase in grants. But the reality, ladies and gentlemen, is we work with what we've been given. The budget has been approved by Parliament, and that is what we have. We will allow you environments from within. We expect you to have prudent financial management systems. Okay? The new heads of schools, if you have issues, please let us know. Don't go and do what you think is right. The school managers. You will also be given a chance to put your views through, because you are very important. You are a very important stakeholder in the education system, the school management. And I'd like to thank you for that. So today we will also have the first round of consultations for the new management handbook that is being reviewed. The old book is now being reviewed. And so we thought we will use this opportunity to put it across to you. The team will put the new handbook, that's the draft form, put it across to you. Please feel free. This is We want active engagement from you. We want to hear your feedback as well. And to the heads of schools, should you have any burning questions, don't go back unsatisfied that your query has not been answered. Right? So that's something that the team will be talking about. And of course, I was just thinking, when TC Winston struck Fiji, close to 495 schools are said to be corrected here, sustained damages at all levels. So those schools, your schools have already been maintained to the best standards, right? So you have a grant that's part of the building and maintenance. You will have savings there. Okay? So if you see things on a positive point of view, you will not complain. You will not cry about the fact that, oh, the grant for school is going to now be reduced to that $10 or whatever. It's not going to be a drastic drop. It's going to be a slight decrease like that. Okay? So again, when the team puts the proposal forward to you, if you have something better for the team, please do say so. Okay? Some of you have more experience in this area, probably more than us. But everybody's view matters. This is the third round of meetings we are having from yesterday. We had one in Gasori, we had one in Rosy this morning. Tomorrow we'll be in Sigatoka, then we'll be in Nendi and Ba and Kava, Rikiriki, and then we'll move to Labasa and Samsung, etc. And we want all of us to be on the same page. And the same page is that we will not compromise with the education of our children. That's it. Okay? And if we walk with that mindset, I'm sure we will come up with positive solutions to the situation we have at hand. Okay? So, there's a lot of things that the team will be talking, but I thought I would address you now. Really love to thank you for the work that you've been doing, to the faith-based representatives here, to the committee, the management, and of course to the heads of school. We want visionary leadership, and that's why you have been placed in these leadership positions. And our focus has been on the new leaders appointed under the OMRS system. Very shortly, your performance appraisals will be on my table, and of course we will move from there. So you've been given that responsibility. And we are now under more public scrutiny than ever. Not only you, everybody. Because we are in such positions. Lives, so many lives. I've mentioned to you the number of children that we deal with. Their welfare. The nation's welfare, of course, and you and I both know teaching is a very noble profession. But sometimes the incidences that come to us, and it makes us realize, have we lost the nobility of the profession? Or are we progressing? That's a question that each individual can answer. How honest, dedicated, and committed are you to your work? Okay? What difference have you made so far? Okay, some of you are very senior teachers, some of you are there from my time. I see my colleagues sitting here. Things were different then, things are different now. Okay? The way we deal with children, the way we were dealt with. When we started teaching, things were different. Now things are very different. Actually, teaching has become a very, very complicated and a very complex profession. Okay? At one time, everybody wanted to become a teacher. I think very soon nobody would want to become a teacher. Because we're dealing with children, we are dealing with parents, we are dealing with community expectations. And believe me, you and I will never be able to fulfill that. Okay? But all we can do is try to do the best that we have. Sometimes there's questions about quality of teachers, and I said, look, Ministry of Education does not produce teachers. It's the teaching institutions that produce teachers. Those of us who went through the early days of advanced college and those teacher training programs will understand what we went through. So we are working with the teacher training institutions so that they can sort of work towards producing quality teachers. The new teachers, there's always this challenge out there for you. Learn from the seniors. I'm not saying all seniors are good, but seniors, you must role model behavior that the juniors will emulate in you. And let's keep the nobility of the profession out there. Corporal punishment, if I can just touch on that quickly, the heads of schools, please make sure you advise and whatever you can do to make sure that your teachers are aware, zero tolerance. There's a red file on my table every day. Somebody has beaten somebody up. Somebody has smacked a child. Somebody has pinched a child. You can't do that. You lose your job. Okay? So it's heads of schools, please. Okay? Make sure your teachers are aware of this. Another policy that we're going year in, year out, we keep giving textbooks, and the requests keep coming in. And these textbooks cost us millions and millions of dollars. So this year in the budget, we've also got an allocation, I think we're close to 2 million something, yeah, for textbooks. While we want to move towards e-books, it's there that we cannot even handle our hard copies of books. We want to go towards e-books, okay? But we will go there. So the requisition that comes into us, the request that comes into us every year is the same number of textbooks the request is made. So if I can give you an example, Rishikul, you have 100 students in Form 7 in your stream. My friend is laughing because I'm taking Rishikul's name. I'm sure it's just that. So if you have 100 students in 2018, in 2019, unless and until your student number increases, you don't ask for an increase in textbook. You send me another request, I need 50 books. Where did the other 50 books go? Your student numbers have not increased. That 50 books costs money. Right? So we want more responsibility from the parents, we want more responsibility from the children. So we are in the process of working out a textbook policy which will be communicated to you, and that should be communicated to the parents. The child has to return the book in the condition he or she has been given the book. Believe me, if we don't inculcate the behavior of responsibility in our children, everything that we're going to give out, every building that we're going to make is not going to be taken, looked after. Ownership is very important. I remember, so this school wrote to me, said, oh, we haven't received these books. I said, okay, fine. This is a teacher's guide. Why do you need 40 copies of a teacher's guide? This is probably the head of school didn't know that that was a teacher's guide. 40 copies of a teacher's guide. And I remember, we used to have one copy in the school and all the teachers would use it. But like I said, the culture has changed. And if you think you can keep asking and will keep giving, please think again. Okay? We are accountable to the taxpayers of this country as well. So these are the issues that I wanted to bring to the forefront. We mentioned to the Montessori group yesterday about the activities and things that you organize in school. Okay, when we go, the prize giving is coming up, and every school wants. That's thick. But remember, the focus of prize giving should be on your achievers. The focus of every prize giving in school should be on your high achievers or on all the students. So I'll give you a simple example. While we are talking about prudent financial management, while we are talking about utilizing money in the place where it's supposed to go, this is not important. This costs money. This costs money. So if we add all the schools that we have, and each school decides to buy one $35 salu, how much money are we giving away in salu? You never do with the fresh scale flour, creativity. Okay? And then this is something that as a teacher I always resented. When you have a group of guests, sorry, no offense to anybody, but I'm just saying, you need to treat every parent with the same respect that you're going to give to your other guests, because you invite them. And it's because of the parents that the children come to your school. So when you organize your lunches and you organize your tea and everything like that, it has to be same for everybody. If you're giving me a cup of black tea, then the other person also gets a cup of black tea. If you're giving me some sandwiches or any other guest that you invite, the other parent should also be given that. I would actually love to see the change in our school system. That's where fairness and equity is. Why would you want to make fish curry or something special for your chief guest? It happens to be me. This is my ministry, so I can't be a chief guest. Okay? But the tradition has been set. And it really doesn't give us a very good picture. When you put a takeaway pack in the hand of your parents and then here you have a group of people having the optics don't look good, and it shouldn't be the case. So please treat every child, every parent, every guest, every visitor that comes to your school, that you invite to your school, in fairness. And that's one change I'd like to do. The regalia, the pomp that you want to have in your events should be kept very simple. The focus should be the child and what the child has achieved. That finances or that resources can be dedicated to the child. Give the child an extra $50 instead of this for him to buy something for his education needs. Okay? So simple things like that. I'm sure it's going to make a lot of difference in the way you leaders set examples. And of course, you know your juniors are going to learn from that. So I'm sure we don't want to keep you here 5. I saw the session is 2 to 5. I know you have your own responsibilities. So I'd like the team to make sure that everybody reaches home on time. You have your commitment. So I'll stop here. But all in all, thank you so much. Thank you very much for being part of the Ministry of Education. Like I said, you are an equal partner in the Ministry of Education. We may be running the headquarters, but the ministry is yours. And the welfare of the children that are placed under you are placed with a lot of hope, a lot of trust by the community and the parents. Please keep up the hope. Do not do things that tarnishes the image of not only your school, but the ministry as a whole. And we at the headquarters, we stand ready to support you, and we are giving you this opportunity to share your views and thoughts with us. Please feel free and open to say what's on your mind. Yes? And the team, we need to be very accommodative. And at the end of the session, once we finish all our consultations, of course, we're going to prepare an outcome document and then probably have it circulated to you to see what were the views of the others. And if there's a need for us to meet on a regular basis so that we can thresh out issues. So this is the first topic for this financial year, and I look forward for your support. And I'd like to wish you all those who will be celebrating Diwali this month, I wish you a very happy Diwali, and for the external exams, I wish you every success, and please the remainder of this term should be utilized to prepare our children for the external examinations that they will set. And I'm sure you set your benchmark, and I'm sure we will achieve further improvement this year, and we look forward for a